And we're back with the second epilogue. Yep, this show is so amazing that we can't do with just a single epilogue. We have to have two.
That's because one episode cannot hold all the snarks and then I have.
I mean, you're not wrong. Also, trying to get everyone on at the same time, no.
That too.
I'll never try that, I don't think.
What I hear? You want to learn how to herd cats?
I think herding cats is probably
toddlers you
easier.
can practice on.
With cats, you just put down a bowl of food and they will come.
Only if it's wet.
Not necessarily. I have a bag of treats that I shake and my cat will literally like jump across the room for them. I've seen him fly.
That's a fair point.
Box lids, also good.
This show is rated R for Trakoria is not necessarily a nice place. There are absolutely all sorts of mean people here on all sides, and one should not suspect that either adventurers or agents are necessarily the good guys. Right?
I don't know. I think we're ahead of the curve against the adventurers, at least.
Maybe.
I have never done anything wrong in my entire life. I will have you know.
Actually,
And
your previous character really didn't.
by never done anything wrong, that's according to your moral standards. And enter the academic discussion on philosophy belonging to the university in Fontresalor. Anyway.
I'm not gonna lie, you might have been the nicest necromancer I've ever met.
I mean, considering I was from a faction of literally mustache-twirling villains,
Yep.
I was about the nicest you were gonna get.
And I, who was supposed to be our good and loyal sheriff, was, you know, much, much meaner than you.
Okay, Judge Dredd.
Josh will not be with us here tonight. He is playing, of course, our friendly Inquisitor. But we have other amazing people by the table, including someone new who we will introduce last, because I'm going to go for the left to right style here. And as it happened, far to the left here is Jessica Lapointe, who plays...
I'm Jessica Lapointe, and I play Praanz da Kaelve, a perfectly law-abiding, upstanding CIA head.
Yeah.
She says that with the greatest straight face ever.
It's not that straight. She doesn't master the social arts that well. But we will treat it as a straight face because we know what she can do with that blade of hers. So, yeah. And next to her is Jessica Birch.
Every stat can be substituted with weaponry if you're good enough at it. Hi everyone, I'm Jessica V, and against all odds, I am here representing Malek Mangus, the survivor of Arhem somehow, and also someone else potentially later. We will see.
We will see. And then we have Sin.
Yes, hello. I am Sin Sinatus, or Sin, and I play, of course, Taralese da Bravaleti, who is far better at a straight face and is here to help fill in for Praanz where she needs it.
Yes.
She is such a dedicated individual.
And we have joining us today, John.
Pleasure to meet everybody. My name is John, and I'll be joining you as Promos Bal Gol Monda. I'm a guy with a boat.
Yeah, that's a good summary. There we go. A guy with a boat. And also, since they're all agents, they will be representing various shadow powers when needed. But we'll get to that. So again, this is an epilogue, and we will start basically at the end of the month of Miska. That's the 5th month, so equivalent to May. You have taken your ships to Clustanova. This is the island of Clustanova, which lies just off. You can see it's an island because it's an island. It's surrounded by water. All the land around here in this bay is Marjura. And so your ships will be basically anchored in the bay right next to the village. The lighthouse here sits on a rock. It can be seen from very, very far away. It's quite an impressive structure, really. And you are supposedly here a couple of days to just set things up and then move as quickly as you can back to Trakoria. That was my understanding from our last conversations. Right?
I found myself nodding, and then I was like, why am I doing that? I'm not here.
We left you in the swamp.
Yep.
Not intentionally. At least not intentionally on my part.
I was just saying. I was saying earlier that I feel a bit guilty because I, out of character, know that Praanz had nothing to do with that. But in character, Malek absolutely believes she set him up.
It's not an unreasonable thing to believe about the Secret Service.
It's really not. And I'm not gonna lie, if I'd have thought of it first, I might have.
Hey, honestly, it seemed to be the trend in Arhem. Just blame them.
Mhm.
Blame Praanz. She's the root of all evil in Arhem.
There we
I
go.
am.
It's a good and simple shorthand for everything.
I kind of earned that title, so it's okay.
Yeah, a bit.
Good and simple shorthand is a good title to have.
The village itself, as I've marked here, that's the one with the 4 little houses and lots of tents around because, of course, the moment you arrive with your ships, all the Marjurans will, and a lot of them are just traveling by their own fishing vessels as well, basically disembark. Any Marjuran that are on your caravels or carracks or the Galbalon will disembark there and set up whatever shelter they can. Effectively, probably quintupling the population numbers for this little village. Like, it started with 20 houses, and now it's gonna try to house another 300 or so people. And not just them, because of course, trickling in from along the coastline are people who used to live in all those other little villages around Marjura who no longer can because the Restless are coming.
Hey, Mikal, it's like our city when cruise boats come in.
Yes, pretty much.
I was gonna say Shades of Gander, too.
Yeah. So just about every Marjuran who used to live on the island of Marjura are moving towards the islands of Klostanoba instead, because the Restless can't cross. Those who patrol around the edges of this island will see, after maybe a day or so, small clusters of Restless walking around along the beach, walking right up to where the waves lap the land, but no further than that. They never come in contact with the actual ocean. And just kind of look towards Klostanoba and then walk around aimlessly. The person who very quickly becomes in charge of everything around here will, of course, be Hildur, who is taking care of his people and setting up a new tavern there. It's gonna be a shack. He's working on it. You know, he's hammering away while he's not talking to the locals and trying to get everybody organized. He's working on whatever he can with his own shack. Of course, having his son helping out with that too. Praanz, you will know Master Curious and his higher tacticum. This is the Bouncy Khan Academy here on Klostanoba. There is one more of those, and that is in Trakoria. So that's the only 2 places in the world where you can learn Bouncy Khan from a master. And there's already like a dozen students here. There are only, before the events that we have been following, before that, there were really only 3 reasons to go to this island of Klostanoba. It's if you were a pilgrim to one of the 2 monasteries, or if you wanted to learn the Bansi Khan from Master Curious. Nobody else ever went here. But
Yep.
that has clearly changed.
I will likely meet up with the master
Yeah.
and just basically explain what happened and explain what the military is going to need, and then I'll confer with Hilda after that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a short and to-the-point meeting. Master Curious is not one for flourishes.
No.
He's very to the point.
He and Praanz get along very well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He is very happy to see Praanz, and of course, whenever Praanz wants to come by and maybe, have supper, or you probably don't have time for a workout, but you'd be welcome to one anyway. Anything he can help with, he will. Including,
I have a
Law
short
and
one
Order.
to release some stress.
Exactly.
But she would confer with Master Kairos, and then, like I said, set himself and Hilda up to basically manage the running of this, what will be a military outpost.
Speaking of military outpost, you have with you about... Well, you took some losses in the town, but not too many, because you evacuated very early. So you had...
You're welcome.
say 350 Trakorian soldiers, excluding the people on the Galbalon and potential people that you can press gang from the Karaks and the Caravels. And 80 or 70, I should say, Wolfkin Reavers, the Gotthard's Reavers, who are no longer Gotthard's Reavers, because Gotthard is no longer among the living. Now
they are Praanz's Reavers.
Now they're Praanz's Reavers. How many do you want to detail to Klostanova, and how many are coming back home to Trakoria?
I will leave pretty much anybody who was supposed to be like newly stationed. I will leave here to basically prepare to retake eventually.
Right.
Once we have a better knowledge of what the mysticism is going on over there. Right now, I don't have the magical knowledge to probably retake that.
I'm gonna set that to about 100 soldiers, because it's like they're rotating about a third of the soldiers.
Basically,
Yeah.
The fellas who were supposed to go home, I will take home. And I will explain that this needs to be outposted. There needs to be training, and we will be back with the appropriate knowledge of what's going on over there and how to fix it.
Okay.
Right now, it's more of a defend the position and don't let them get any further.
Right. Will you bring the Reavers back to Trakoria as well?
I will probably leave a few. I will take maybe 3/4 of them with me, leave a quarter there.
Okay. So it's about then 15 or so Reavers. Yeah. Well, am I doing math correctly here? Yeah, I am.
I was gonna say I'm not the person to ask.
About 20 Reavers or so, perhaps.
Yeah, that makes sense. Just because I know they'll be able to sense the dead faster than the humans.
Yeah.
Should Hilda and Master Kairos need stronger muscle, they'll have it.
I mean, for now, like, there's like tension in the air on Klostanova, certainly the first day, and a lot of very, very worried Marjorans, like, will the Restless be able to cross? Will they be able to just swim? Are we absolutely certain that they will not just build a boat and come over, or, put some logs in the water, build a bridge with logs? But after the first day or two, when nothing of this happens, they start relaxing and noticing that, the Restless are definitely not trying to cross right now.
No.
They are just standing and looking towards that island they can get to.
They seem contained over there.
Yeah, they can't get over that big body of water.
Okay. So yeah, it'll be a hold the line kind of situation until I can get back with more knowledge.
Sounds good. Which is at the earliest in the fall, really.
Yeah.
Because you will have the whole weather situation. What is Lady Taralese doing during these couple of days? Don't know how much you have to do there unless you want to organize the civilians.
She doesn't really have any investment in that unless there's anyone who approaches her looking for orders and things to do. She's happy to order people around, telling them how to better organize their space to try and maximize it if they so desire. Certainly she's at least, if nothing else, letting her butler loose to have something to do because he's probably bored to tears. And then other than that, she's just busy checking on her own supplies, and probably also playing Smickleboard with anyone if she can find it.
Yeah, there's gonna be people there, and Hildur, like, it takes him 2 days to basically turn a shack into a new tavern. There's a plank sawed down from a 2x4 that is just nailed to the wall, and with some paint just written Young Hilders, and there we go. He's up and running. Is it a
tiki bar?
What was that?
Is it a tiki bar?
I guess, yeah. Of sorts. As close as you can get to one. The, as you are doing a bit of touristy business here, I suppose. Closest thing to tourism you've come since you left Trakoria. The lighthouse is quite an interesting construction. About 20 meters high, with very, very sort of, it's like a chimney almost that gets
more narrow at the top.
Yeah, more narrow at the top. And there is some kind of hot fumes, like a hot spring type of situation, where this gas comes up through the chimney to an iron cage where there is coals that set the gas aflame, and it goes.
So it's a natural gas pocket?
Yeah.
Okay,
and,
so there's nothing magical there.
No. And that keeps the lighthouse going. So, curiosity for a tourist place. I have seen the lighthouse on Clustanova.
Oh, what about the Master Hilder's daughter that was interested in becoming a lady in waiting?
She's still interested in becoming a lady in waiting. She's very worried that Hildur will stop her from going and just stay on the ships or something. He definitely would prefer her to stay. Do you want to convince him that she's going to be well taken care of?
Yeah, I think so. She's interested in helping this young country mouse.
Very well. I think that we have the chance for our first roll of the epilogue. That would be. Are we machinating this?
I think so.
Okay. So yeah, machinator. Two water, one machinator. If you are spending one of your fate dice.
I have them to spend, so I might as well.
Do indeed. All right. I've been having a shortage of fate dice. That's a good roll. 2 successes. And one of them a 6. You might just make it. Because Hildur, I mean, he has that gaze, right? That looks straight through anyone. But he is not necessarily a machinator. Yeah, I'll just roll my 2 dice for him. 2 successes there too, but you had a 6. Also, you're the aggressor, so you win.
Don't worry, Master Hildur. She'll be in wonderful hands. And if nothing else, she'll certainly be safe from the undead. No need to worry about her getting eaten and becoming someone's lunch.
Well, that is true. That is true, he says. I thank you for wanting to take care of her. And I trust she will have a good life in the big city.
Don't worry, darling. She's going to be part of very big things to come.
Miriti's eyes just light up at this, like, fairy tale, and I'm gonna be in it, that kind of gaze. Starstruck. But she probably doesn't know exactly what what is awaiting her at all.
Nope.
Poor dumb girl.
Poor dumb girl. A couple of other notes for Klostanoba. There are two monasteries, I've mentioned them. The Felix monastery is... the Felix are a sect of monks and nuns who worship cats. They see the cats as higher beings and try to mimic cats in everything. So you will find, if one were to go to the monastery, you will find monks laying around here and there in their spots of sun, maybe, cleaning themselves when needed. They are also famous for being excellent martial artists, which might be Praanz's interest in them, consisting of all sorts of very, smooth moves and lots of kicks as well. They very agile people, obviously, they have to be. But they don't care about any of what they're not going to leave their monastery, so you're not going to see them unless you go there. The same can be said for the monks of the High Fairy convent. They are also interesting. Praanz, Lady Taralese, you probably have heard of them as well. Their main convent is in Nastrol on Palamux, where they tend to the Eniac, which is the great fungus hedge that keeps Moscoria and Nastrol safe from invading cargo missions. Anyone who goes too close to this fungus will not live to tell the tale, because it will shoot high-velocity spores at people who get too close. At supersonic sounds, at supersonic speeds. So if you do that, it'll be very much like walking right into a 50 caliber machine gun nest. It does terrible things to the human body. I don't know why they're here, or you don't know why they're here, but yeah, they're there, and again, nobody goes up there because they have a piece of that fungus there and tend to it. Apparently they can move around in the fungus without any problems.
Mikkel, that nun that came over with me, what order
Mogolan?
was she? Yeah.
She never actually mentioned the name of her sect, but it was none of these.
Or snot.
Also, she's not on the boats.
No, you did mention at the end of the session that she was walking around among the dead, and they didn't seem to be bothering her.
Yep.
So I will go to the orders,
Mm-hmm.
the monasteries, and ask. Basically, I'm curious about her and what order would have that kind of ability.
Yeah, that's an excellent question. They will... They will have to think on that. They would not go anywhere near the Restless if they don't have to, that's for sure. Interesting. No, not one we've heard of, they will say.
I will also mention the ones that were singing that drive people crazy that also came over, that she seemed to be immune to them as well.
That is highly unusual, and then they don't want to talk about that anymore, because talking about that is inducing the thing. So they start talking about how wonderful cats are, and lie down and roll back and forth and expect you to rub their rub them under the chin, maybe.
You should have brought an empty crate as a tribute.
I probably would have. I feel like Praanz would know that.
Why not? They will like the empty crate. They're now sitting in the empty crate. There might be a bit of a fight over it.
I imagine there might be several of them.
Yeah, there might be several fights over the empty crate.
She will mention that if they come across anything in their texts, to please write her and let her know.
Yeah, no, she will do that. She does recommend going to Isakra though, to the Etemenanki temple there. They have a very, very well appointed library, and almost every single sect or cult or order, religious order in Trakoria, or the world indeed, has a shrine there. So if you want to find an obscure sect, there's no better place to look for that.
She will write that down somewhere and try to remember that so that she can do that.
A couple of sort of wrap-up situations on Klostanova, because it's really just a pit stop. Right now people are sort of counting their losses, of course, and there's going to be some people who didn't make it to the boats, either because they were too stubborn, or too stupid, or just didn't get to Arhem in time. Maybe they came from an outlying farm and just didn't make it there, didn't take the threat seriously enough to make it there. So there's some people there who will have bad news and mourn lost relatives for sure. And some, of course, who fought the good fight next to Hildur and didn't make it. But among the people who are missing, you will notice that Dija, Damagi, and Gistaki are in fact here, but Roba Redkopf isn't. And they have no idea where she's gotten to. Also, the archaeological expedition, no sign of them at all.
They probably fucked off once they fucked everything up.
I mean, Hildur just assumes that they're all dead by now. They could not have survived. You saw how many the restless were. If they were in the middle of it, I do not see how they could have survived.
Well, if they're not dead, they want to hope that they are.
I don't know. They seem like a rather resourceful lot. I think you'd be surprised just how hard these stupid people can be.
They can, but I will find them.
I wish you all the best luck in that.
And then they will wish they had died.
Hildur just kind of shakes his head over this whole thing. He has made up his mind about this. And that, I believe, is the last that you will see of Klostanova. A couple of days later, I'm gonna advance the clock there. It will be... Do we get our torrential rains? Yes, we get torrential rains! It's springtime, so torrential rains. It's a thing with my weather generator, I don't know why.
To Vancouver as default?
Yeah, apparently. 2 days
the
of
IP
torrential
address
rain.
is in St. John.
As the month is almost over, you will set sail in torrential rains, apparently, and cross the Northern Ocean.
I shit you not, when I moved to Kingston, I got a tan because it's just not overcast perpetually like it is in Vancouver in other parts of the country.
And now you will be leaving from the eastern side of the island.
Where we're at, you can literally go like maybe not 10 minutes out of the city and have a 15-degree change.
It's true. And that's in centigrade, dear American viewers. We have almost no American viewers. It's kind of funny. Almost everyone is Swede. You will start on your... Since you have the Galbalon with you in the convoy, it will in fact take a good 5 or so weeks instead of the regular 4, because that ship is slow and cumbersome.
Can't we just leave it behind this time? We don't have the other warships trying to ferry us along and keep us in line.
I didn't get to ride on the military ship the first time.
This is
I'm
true.
taking it with me.
That's your toy. I mean, it
You
has
can do that.
much.
Stand on the prow looking heroic.
It has much nicer accommodations because it's so much bigger, right? So, of course, you're going to be surrounded by every single noble that could bribe themselves onto that vessel.
And I'm sure everybody but Taralese will give me a clear path.
Just about, yes. Meanwhile,
Taralese might come and offer me a drink occasionally.
as you set off, we'll do some kind of jump cuts, and I'm not even sure exactly where on the timeline this is, but in Fontrasilor, oh, I'm on the wrong window. Sorry. In Fontrasilor, a wretched hive of scum and villainy, there is a meeting between someone who's... I can't have this music to Fontrasilor. Jesus. That's all wrong. We need...
Entirely too pastoral.
Yeah, way too pastoral. Or should it even be that one, maybe? Feel like it's more appropriate. Yes. An unexpected survivor from Marjura is meeting with another unexpected survivor from Marjura.
Chance meeting, if I recall correctly, because I believe I'm in the market looking for something in particular.
Indeed.
That has proven very difficult to find.
Yes. When you see the man in question.
Master Scoffer.
He turns. He looks. Master Mangus? Is that you?
I should perhaps choose another name, but yes, I didn't think I would see you again.
It's the mask, he says. and the voice.
Yes. I'm not skilled in concealing who and what I am. I should perhaps learn. You are well, I take it?
As well as can be, after the most jarring experience. You can't possibly understand what I've been through. One day I was on Marjura, and then I find myself in Trakoria again. It's all very strange.
Yes. I'm glad that you got out prior to the events that occurred. I don't know if you've heard.
No, I have not. No news. I'm very confused because it usually takes weeks and weeks to live Marjura, and here we are, and I do not understand what has happened with the time. But
I arranged transportation for you.
Oh, I have you to thank. Thank you, Master.
You're welcome. I still have some limited means and knowledge of that regard. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you this then, but Arhem is no more.
No more? How is that?
You perhaps were still suffering the effects of the attack and the subsequent treatment during the lead up to this, but you may have seen some strange things occurring in the city. Individuals moving strangely.
Well, I escaped zombie convicts?
I only wish that were true. It sounds ridiculous, even to me, but shortly after you were attacked, the dead began rising. And they did not stop. And they have not stopped.
Huh. So what does that mean for the sulfur trade?
Last I heard, the ships were full of survivors. There is no sulfur trade anymore.
Oh, this will be a calamity for the Emperor.
I have no doubt.
Interesting. You can see how his eyes kind of light up with, oh, business opportunities, how can I make them? And I was not there to bring out the last shipments.
I don't think anyone could have, frankly.
Unless the Moggers did. Those sly marsh folk. Huh.
They did try. I made it clear to them in no uncertain terms that their priority was evacuating the city.
The priority is always to serve Castique. And I'm sure these ignorant toad spleens have taken every opportunity to sideline my trading house in this. Shakela will not be best pleased.
I'm sure that's true, in fact. And Malek sort of reaches into his bag, because I don't think I got a chance to empty or anything, so I still have the ledger.
Yes.
In fact, I recovered this. And he sort of hands Vaudeville the ledger. It is, of course, a blatant forgery, but...
Huh. Blatant forgery indeed.
It seems they were intending to frame me for all manner of malfeasance. With the assistance, it must be said, of some of the outsiders who arrived in Arhem shortly before all of this happened.
Fobbing pox-poppers? They wouldn't have the skill to create a convincing... Oh, I'm sure they're going to try to get themselves Fabricus Veritas to attest to the truth of this. Well, that will not happen as long as I can stop it. Maybe this is my chance to get back with Shakelo. Yes.
I do wish things had played out otherwise. As far as I have been able to... I am no judge of such things, but you always seemed competent and fair in your dealings to me.
And the same to you, Master Mangus. I have to thank you kindly for this. Yes. Are you? Do you have offices or such like around here?
I do not. I have been looking for something. Do you know? Actually, perhaps you would be able to tell me. Do you know where I could obtain some obsidian?
Attain?
Some obsidian.
Obsidian? In these parts? I'm afraid not. I've been trying to orient myself in this slime-ridden hellhole myself. But
what are you doing here in particular?
I don't really know. I found myself here and well, he looks like a defeated man. I cannot go back to Shakelos easily. That much is true.
It seems like it would shorten your lifespan considerably, yes.
Indeed.
Try.
I don't suppose you would have need for my services?
I am myself an exile trying to find my way. I could wish that I were in a position to do so. Perhaps. My motivations are to understand what happened on Arhem. It could be that there are some who would see value in my skills as well, but I don't know how to market myself as anything like that, or perhaps you do.
Well, I have been known to be able to convince one or two about employment contracts and such like.
Yes. My research would be better served if I had resources. My last attempt to make myself useful did not end well.
Indeed. Well, one good turn deserves another. Let us unite in our efforts to find a new employer.
I would appreciate it greatly.
Whatever work we do will require some nice golden trakeens, and I'm afraid my pockets are woefully empty at the moment. But we shall. I understand that.
I do have some resources that perhaps could fetch a price if sold. And
Indeed.
I imagine you would get a much better price than I would for them.
We shall approach one of the local nobles. I hear that some of them are still quite well off, with burgeoning coffers, overflowing coffers, and not much sense of how to use their gold trakeens. I'm sure we can give them some good advice.
I appreciate it. It's been a long time since I've had to consider such things.
Most of the nobles around here are completely ignorant scullions anyway.
Yes. I will, I think we could do very well together in this respect. Oh, how should we prepare for this opportunity?
We shall write a contract, of course.
Yes.
And have it completely written, and he becomes very bureaucratic, and clay tablets and seals and all that sort of thing. And so it was that Malek met Bodeville. This is not like Harry met Sally, is it? No.
No.
Okay.
You're gonna get so screwed over, dude.
We shall return briefly to the Northern Ocean as you are traveling for 5 weeks. I am afraid, Lady Taralese and Colonel Praanz, that before you arrive to Tresilva, where a certain Duke and his man with a boat awaits, that you will be caught on the sort of start of the bad weather. Which means that you will have to put up with 3 weeks of that, because you left a bit too late and you're moving slowly.
One more thing that Malek would probably think to suggest to Bodeville at some point is that they could perhaps benefit from the fact that they know much earlier than a lot of other people do
Yes.
what happened.
This is true.
On Arhem.
They can sell knowledge for strategic business investment.
Yes. He's like, Malek understands the value of knowledge, but like doesn't know how to sell it.
Right? But Bodeville does. Let's see here if there are some storms or maelstroms, because that's really the danger in the summer. Now, the first week is fine. How about maelstroms? No, you're fine, apparently. The second week... That was a close one. You can see the storm on the horizon. And the third week... Are you going to make it all the way home? I am almost disappointed that no ships are lost. That could have been a 0-1.
Sailing involved in avoiding the storms.
Clearly, that could have been a 1, and it was 100. Apparently, you make it all the way back to Trakoria without encountering a single storm, and everybody on the ship is just absolutely ecstatic over this. You were lucky, and yeah, that was good fortune. So we can go to the actual Trakorian map.
On the boat during the day, Praanz is very like stoic and doesn't talk unless she's barking orders.
Yeah.
And anyone who passes her room in the evening will hear things breaking.
I'm sure. So we have 1 week, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're gonna be somewhere on Minda the 16th, which is like June, when you arrive in the North Sea. Did you want to spend some time in the library you mentioned?
No, I think I need to go report first.
That seems reasonable, yes. The library is up here in Isakura. But you go straight through everything, and that's going to add about another week or two, maybe. So I will add that to the calendar. Arriving on the 25th of Minda, midsummer, just about, you come to Chisilva, the capital of the Empire, with the entire convoy. And what a sight it is as the convoy from Marjura comes in. Duke Allesella, for the moment, rather than man with a boat. The convoy from Marjura, which brings about 1/6 of the revenue of the Empire's revenue to the coffers, to the Imperial coffers, should have been here 2 weeks ago. Everybody at court right now is worried, because this is strange. This is not how it should be. Will the Duke take any particular actions during this time?
I assume that we've had things like weather forecasts and strategic planning regarding the shipping routes.
As well as could be made, yes. The worry here is that the convoy will be taken by one of the summer storms in the North Sea and possibly sunk. So everybody is walking on tiptoes. The Empress herself has a hard time thinking about anything else. The Budak, which is, of course, for the dear viewers who don't know about Trakorian governance, is the ruling council. You could say that it's like a parliament where the people who are members of parliament are either nobles or extraordinarily rich merchants who were able to buy themselves into a seat. The emperor, really Empress, because the emperor is a drunken lout, does not rule in absolute fashion in Trakoria. The Emperor has basically 2 ministerial portfolios in the government and a permanent seat at the table. So, like, twice as many votes. But the Budak is a body that can make decisions and implement policy sometimes against the wish of the Emperor. So there are a lot of people right now, nobles and others of significance, who are very worried about the tardiness of this convoy.
Well, it's understandable. They need to be worried. They'll soon have to dip into their stores if they wish to keep up with the image of the Emperor's beneficence.
Absolutely. Let me ask, because we have, of course, here several different shadow players who might just all be in Tresilva at the moment. If we move hats a bit, since Lady Taralese and Colonel Praanz are on the ships, what would the Duchess Klenora da Spinalunga and Director Goba da Grummi do in this particular situation? Do they have reason maybe to talk to Duke Allesella, the younger brother of the Emperor?
Well, I have to play the court. You know, this really will not do. This really is quite out of the ordinary. So how exactly do we plan to handle this, assuming that, for whatever reason, that they actually were eaten or smashed on the shores?
Is there some measure of preparation that you would take against the sea itself?
I don't know. Water mages?
Did you not employ any in the shipping of your vessels?
Oh, I don't need such things. Most of my trade is over land. How do you not know this? Do you not read any of my reports? Oh, really, men.
I will admit that I skim them from time to time. I reap the relevant knowledge as collected by my own agents. I am, of course, quite busy myself. So many of these social functionaries to attend.
Oh, yes, you and your brother.
1/6 of the income. If 1/6 of all of the stocks are devastatingly lost, what plan does your nation have in place to respond to it? Surely you must be prepared for some disaster.
My nation. Our nation, dear Duke.
Oh, I apologize. My brother's nation.
Let's be real here. Your brother is absolutely useless.
Not absolutely, but he does make an effort, doesn't he?
To be as useless as possible, certainly. And you seem to be trying to keep up with him at this point. Skimming reports. Anyway, so the real question then is, how do you plan to pay for all your brother's extra little projects that he has going on then? I assume you're going to have them canceled?
Quite the opposite. No, we're going to promote them as a symbol of unity in the face of adversity and hardship. We press the merchant class within this party to release some of their stores to the general public, the things that are about to spoil and rot. Clear out the dusty cobwebs of their larders. It will come off as a great show of beneficence, of generosity. I would suggest that you do the same.
And how do you plan to get them to agree to that?
Lean on them, blackmail them. You know who's sleeping with who, don't you?
Of course. But the real one you need to deal with is Kamesti. You should know that. He's the real one we have to worry about, messing with the merchants.
And what do you think Kamesti's plan is?
Oh, Kamesti? I assume he's going to try and take advantage of this for his little new sphere thing.
Go on.
Really?
You have my interest. You should know the value of such a thing.
And I know how little it actually means. I swear to the gods. Surrounded by idiots. Men, I'm surrounded by idiots.
You have agents on these ships?
I don't know. I don't know if they actually made it onto the ships, if they even left. I assume you know where all your agents are. Do you not?
My agents are widespread. I do have one that might be of some use in perhaps tracking down, seeing if maybe things can't get pushed along, but dangerous to send into a storm.
For 1/6 of the nation's annual income, I would say that's perfectly worth it.
Then if you and I should discuss perhaps funding his adventures.
What exactly are you proposing then? I know you have your own means to be able to fund such a thing. I would assume you'd want to get all the glory out of it.
Oh, quite the opposite. Quite the opposite. You see, it's not my concern to fund my brother's parties, to give him his little delicacies and his little obsessions. No, I want him to fund my parties and my delicacies, my obsessions. 1/6 of his income is roughly 1/3 of mine. You don't need to lecture me on severity, but we can't allow the mask to crack. We can't show them that weakness.
No, we can't.
Provide my agent with cover and a contact point, enough information to get into trouble. I will provide him with funds, send him on his way. He's a remarkably simple person.
Oh, that funny little man you like to bring around to some of your parties.
Yes,
one?
he's adorable, isn't he?
I've seen, well, some of the dogs that some of the other ladies keep. He'd do well amongst them.
Oh, he is delightfully rough around the edges, but an impressive salesman. Whatever you call them, the ones with the boats, not a merchant. Fishmonger.
Is he a fishmonger or is he a sailor? Which is it?
One or the other.
Never mind. Anyway, I certainly could provide that. I could even bend the Empress's ear a little bit to help grease the wheels. Have some real work be done.
Best perhaps then not to mention my name. She and I rarely see eye to eye.
Oh, but it's so wonderful when you two get to spar together.
Yes, but deleterious to our plans of smoothing things along for now. Would you agree?
We'll find out. But regardless, we definitely have a vested interest in trying to keep things running. And it is not unreasonable. So I will make my contacts, you get yours set up, and we'll meet in the middle.
I will have the scribes draft the writs of passage and notes of mark, and whenever you're ready, just find him. He's tremendously hard to miss.
Oh, don't worry. I'll send a servant to do that. I really shouldn't be seen. No, none of us should be seen around him, except at your parties.
Nowhere remotely close.
No.
So the Duke and the Duchess have made plans. What would Goba da Grummi's reaction to the tardiness of the convoy be?
Probably wondering where the hell her agents are and why she hasn't gotten word.
Mm-hmm. Her headquarters is just across the bay from Tresilva, but obviously she has offices in Tresilva as well whenever she wants to go there. Would she want to have a word with her, the leader of her order, the Order of the New Sphere, Duke Rovendo Allesella himself?
Probably, if things are going south. She'd probably also have... Does she have any access to magic?
Yes, of course. Like, she would have agents in the Digitalunga who can practice the arcane arts.
Can she have anybody who could get a beat on her agents?
That, however, unfortunately is much harder because her agents are across great distances and oceans, and the limitations of magic stops them from seeing that far.
Okay.
But Jalsop de Kamesti is, in fact, Goba da Grummi will know, ecstatic. I'm sure he comes into one of her offices at some point, smiling ear to ear. My dear Goba, he says, in his
yes,
very
darling.
boastful and noisy fashion. I think we have done it. I cannot interpret the delay any other way.
Yes, well, I haven't heard anything from either of my agents, so things have either gone marvelously well or horribly, horribly wrong.
Oh, but
we shall see.
The delay must be because we have now taken into our custody, in the Order of the New Sphere, the sulfur trade.
Yes.
I almost want to see... I want to be there when the Empress learns the news.
It will be marvelous.
Indeed. Would you perhaps want to send out Katramas, one of those fast sailors, to see where the convoy might be? Because the convoy we must still have.
Yes, that would be a good idea.
Also, try this excellent wine from the continent. Just bought this morning.
Oh, I prefer not to day drink, but I'll save some for the evening.
Whatever for. All the time drink, I do.
Yes, I'm aware. She starts writing the summons for the ship to be sent out, the fast whatever.
Yeah, a Katramas is kind of like a catamaran-style ship that is used often by the Trakorian Navy to send messages or patrol or hunt down smugglers, things like that.
Find out where the convoy is. Bring the following. She gives them a list of names straight to me.
Ah, so they will leave the convoy and go with the Katramas because the Katramas is much faster. Interesting development. Of course, a Katramas is indeed fast, so if we go back to our Trakoria map, that changes one or two things.
I love breaking things.
Yes, it's all broken. All broken now. It is not the 25th of Minda. It's going to be something like the 10th or so. And the convoy will be somewhere along the southern tip of Transmira when on these ships you will see a Katramas coming hastily towards you. And it's basically signal for where where Colonel Praanz da Kaelve might be, and then want to board the Galbalon to speak to her.
Yes, can I help you?
I bring urgent message from the director herself.
Shit. She takes the summons. Well, time to pay the piper.
Yep. that means that Praanz da Kaelve will in fact have to board the Catramas and spend the rest of the journey on that much faster ship, while the rest of the convoy lumbers on. What would Lady Taralese do about that?
I will offer to take you with me, at least get you into town.
Well, that's kind.
She is willing to accept that, being moved faster, provided she's at least able to take her new handmaid. She's in training.
Yeah, they can fit Meridian too. Yeah.
Probably a good idea. I wouldn't leave her on. Yeah, I wouldn't leave her alone on a boat full of soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. So you will board the ship, and it's going to take you to Tresilva in a matter of maybe 3 days instead of a week. And that's nice, right? You cut your traveling time considerably that way.
And then I yell at myself.
And then you yell at yourself. Exactly. Goba da Grummi will be yelling at Praanz da Kaelve. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean you brought sulfur back with you? How could you allow this?
There were zombies.
Here's an interesting question, though, because apparently we have another sailor coming. A man with a boat. Will he arrive in time for the Catramas as well?
Maybe. I don't know.
Ships in the night, because he's looking for a completely different boat.
Yeah, we're looking for the convoy, right?
Like I said.
Fast fucking boat.
Exactly.
I love breaking things.
Yeah. But what will he do when he catches up to the convoy south of Trismira, where the convoy actually is?
And Praanz is not there. And neither is Lady Taralese.
He'll kind of wave him down and get the little, the little horn that he uses, and just sort of like bellow out across the waves, like, "Hey, what are you, Praanz?
We're the sulfur convoy sailing for Tresilva."
Okay, but is there a prawns on you?
No.
That's so unceremonious.
I'm looking for their prawns.
No, Praanz has left.
For away.
With a Catramas just a day ago.
Direction.
Tresilva.
South, you dick. Which way?
Southeast.
Right. And then he'll set his sail and pull up his anchor.
Just take up the chase, knowing fully well that a sloop cannot catch up with a Catramas.
He'll plot for like the next available port. He see if he can't hitch a ride on another boat's wake eventually.
Yeah, that could work.
And his skiff is kind of made to tire out small whales. So
yeah. It's a fast ship. It is a fast ship. It's not quite as fast as a Catramas, but then again, we're talking about sailing, and every once in a while, the winds will not be working the way you want. Are we saying that Promos Gol Monda will make the first roll for his part in this campaign as a skipper?
Absolutely.
I think so. Which means that you will want to... Oh, and you have 2 levels of skipper too. This is a chase, isn't it? You're chasing down the Catramas. That's what you're trying to do. Which is not going to be easy because it has a head start. But you can't win the prize if you don't try. Chases. You will roll fire for your own ship. And your ship being a fast-sailing sloop. No armies. We want ships. There we go. A Catramas has fire 4. I'm gonna put yours to fire 3. And then you can add, or we do either that or a navigation check. Let's do a navigation check, because you can actually see the catcher mouse. You're trying to navigate more skillfully. I think that's more appropriate. You have wind 3, and you can put 2 fate dice into your skipper ability if you want. So that would give you 5 dice altogether.
I will go on ahead and do so.
And that means 2 more dice to the chalice. It's now up to 13 after having been down to like 4. I'm sorry, it's up to 16 because you're a new player. You add some to that. And now I'm gonna nick my pool here. So we have 4 players here. That gives me 12. So that means that we have 4 left in the chalice and the GM now has 12. So roll your 5d6 if you please. The last 2 d6s are the fate dice. And I will roll the equivalent for the catcher mouse, except my NPC will only have 1 in skipper. So I'll roll, 5 dice too.
Would you like me to roll 3 then too?
Yeah, 4 dice. No, roll 5 altogether. And I'll roll 4.
5 altogether.
Yep. What? 4 successes and 3 of them are 6s. That is, a complete success. Crits in this game are 6s.
Looks like the
I think
catamaran is going to get itself caught by a sloop.
Yes, it's gonna get itself caught by a sloop. This is so embarrassing. I'm
fine with that.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll
I
my.
have a guy. He's got a boat.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll my 4d6.
Honestly, Praanz knows she's about to
though.
get her head chewed off. So
I have 3 successes, but it's not enough because you had 4, and 3 of them 6s.
Yeah, Taralese has definitely been kind of taking that time to coach Praanz on, okay, if they ask you this question, you say...
give this answer.
Deep breathing and don't smash anything.
Exactly.
I feel like she probably has some semblance of what she's doing. She wouldn't have gotten this high in
that's also true.
The military if she didn't.
That's absolutely right.
She knows when to shut her mouth and nod her head.
Yeah. But she hasn't had to lie to her director because she knows that her director tried to screw her over.
Promos Gol Monda will be able to sail into Tresilva before the Catramas, and I'm gonna give you like a whole day of an advantage because that was just an amazing roll. So what will Promos Gol Monda do? Let's say that he goes up the court and meets with the Duchess Klenora da Spinalunga. I'm sure the Duke is around there as well, but you can interact with Sin as the Duchess. Promos meets Duchess Klenora and brings news from the convoy, I guess.
I do. As Praanz to the Duchess?
No, wait. Did Promos bring Praanz
the other
from
P.
The Catramas?
Okay.
I'm confusing myself now.
So if
do you sail past the Catramas, or do you stay by the Catramas to pick up Praanz?
He'll like hail the catcher mouse down once he can. If he's got like a full day, then he'll just kind of drift north and shout out every once in a while.
Yep. Yeah, the Catramas will shout back, Imperial business, be on your way, fisherman.
Yeah, I know. Which is a Praanz.
I'm Colonel Praanz.
Yeah.
What can I do for you?
You Colonel Praanz.
But you fornicating eel bait! This is an Imperial ship! Get out of our way!
So this now.
She just looks bored.
I got a letter for you.
Oh, another one?
Is there a first?
Yeah, apparently more than one official wants to bite my head off. It's fine.
I don't know what it says.
The captain will, in fact,
Thanks.
look at the colonel and, okay, if the colonel wants the message.
Yeah, I want the message.
Arely's is kind of squinting at the figure in the boat, looking at him, tilting her head to the side.
Throw us down or open.
Promos? The monkey?
You know this guy?
I know of him. He's a jester of sorts in court.
Apparently
Pet.
he's a fisherman too.
I think I remember hearing that. I've been out of the parties for almost a full year now. It's rather disappointing.
Try to avoid the parties when I can.
Oh, darling, we'll change that. You've got me as a friend now.
Yay!
In any case, what exactly is he doing here? I don't know why the Duke would take any interest in you.
I broke things.
No offense. Just, I don't know why he would take any interest in you.
Maybe he hasn't.
Perhaps. So what exactly does it say?
Opens the letter.
What exactly?
You
does it say?
you Praanz then.
Yes, I am Praanz.
Right, here's a letter from a lady in my buddy Allesella.
Awesome. I open the letter.
What does it say?
Klenora was just setting things up.
What did the Duke say? What does Goba say? No, Goba, that was a different letter. This is from
Yeah.
Duke Allesella. So yes, John, what did Duke Allesella say to Praanz?
So Duke Allesella will basically lay out, hey, I'm going to send this guy with you. Your patron has agreed. Just sort of show him around and let him blend in with like local cultures. Use him as a distraction if you need to. He's not practiced in politics. We're not sure if he's literate, but he's great fun at parties, and nobody expects him. So just sort of keep him around, let him listen to things, try and keep him alive, but he has his own banknotes, and he'll get the hang of it.
Give him some lunch money, he'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I commend your service, my trained monkey. Good day.
Congratulations, you're my new assistant.
Yeah, we've given him simple instructions and he knows what to listen for, but just let him talk to people.
Although, here's a question. Does he name the patron in the letter?
No. No, that would be gauche.
Okay, so Praanz is very confused about why Goba is sending a monkey from Duke Rovendo.
Do I recognize anybody's handwriting?
Is there a seal there?
There would probably be a seal on the on like the letters of mark that he has to like wave around.
Hmm. And
that's what gives promos. He's like, I'm here. A guy gave me this thing and said if anybody got in my way, go like this. So,
Multi-pass.
yeah.
That seal is the Allesella family crest. So, yeah, that's the imperial family.
Dear lady, is that what I think that is?
Yes, that is the crest of Duke Allesella.
This just got a hell of a lot more complicated.
Dude.
Darling, you already knew that as soon as we uncovered that one. Well,
True. Congratulations, you're my new assistant, apparently.
I'm a what now?
You're my new assistant.
throw down a ladder, whatever it is you throw down for such things for him. Go on.
I thought we did already. That's how he got me the thing.
Oh, I thought he just handed it up to you.
No, we threw down the ladder so he could come up to handle.
Oh,
okay.
yeah. I've been talking with Cappy about how his boats are too big.
Yeah.
That's why he's so slow. Your boat's too big.
The captain is like, this is literally the fastest ship in the Trakorian Navy.
Oh, don't worry. It's
About-
not about the boat. It's about the
About a
sailors.
half day's drift.
You
Says that
fool-
you're not the fastest Imperial craft now anymore. Hmm?
You fool-born butt blister.
I like you. You got something to drink. A man's got a thirst.
Passes him a flask of whiskey.
Huh? So, where are we headed?
I have reports to give.
Yep.
Right?
You certainly
Shit went
do.
sideways.
So, you're gonna go the rest of the convoy, you need a fast ride.
I need a fast ride. I always need a fast ride.
Get your things and get a couple of the strong arms. Anybody else coming with you? Holds up 6.
Coming?
Yeah, Taralese is not staying with the Digadalonga agents without Praanz being there. She is not a dumb woman. She can do shit to them potentially, but
And Halaska is still around, by the way. Speaking of agents, would she have even been allowed into the boat? Because she's like from the convoy, or have you just skipped her and gone ahead?
I probably would have drug her with me, mostly so I could throw her under the bus.
Oh, great. Yeah. Okay. She is being dragged along. Yeah.
I tell her I'm gonna throw her under the bus. I'm gonna wait till we get to
As the
Goba
boats
and then
get
do it.
progressively smaller, I imagine this vibe gets progressively more uncomfortable.
Exactly. I have a feeling that Nin Halaska wants to strike up a conversation with you about, your feelings on returning back and what should we do? How do we prepare our arrival properly? That sort of thing.
Let me do the talking.
As she says this, I'm gonna roll her Machinator Insight and spend a fate die from my pool on that. So now we have 6 in the chalice. And try to suss out what Praanz intends to do there. So that's 3 dice against your water. She has 3 successes, which is no 6 though.
What is my water?
Your water is a 2.
Okay. And
But you don't have Machinator, so you just get the 2 dice. Unless we can... Yeah, there we go.
that was horrible.
That was horrible. She will know what your plans for her are. She'll be able to suss it out in the subtext of how you're talking.
Yeah, sure, I'm just gonna let her have it. Because Praanz doesn't really care anymore.
Very well. Tension on aboard. Will Lady Taralese figure out that Nin knows that Praanz is going to do this? Is this another Machinator roll?
sure, she's happy to try and protect her current horse she's got money on.
Intrigues abound. That would be,
I'm so glad you're all in like a six-seater boat together.
Yep.
Would she be able to use wind for this rather than her water? Just kind of watching her body language since she's kind of gotten to know Nin.
Yeah, exactly. You have, you'll get a... Why don't both of you have like extra 2 dice? Because you've been confined to ships for so long. And if we want to add those 2 dice to our previous rolls there, Praanz, if you want to roll 2 more dice, I'll roll 2 more for her. So that is 2 successes for you, and I'll roll 2 more for her because you know each other that well now. I get 1 more success, so I'm still winning. That's a lot of dice. Did you use any of your fate dice for that?
Yeah, that was using 1 fate die for
Very well.
Machinator with Insight. Because I got the 3 for Wind, 1 for my Machinator, and then the extra 2 you gave.
Yeah. And I will use 1 of my fate dice for Machinator to resist this. Everybody's just doing the intriguey stuff now. And that gives me 2, 3, 5 then. For 3 successes versus your 3 successes, but you are the aggressor, so you win. So you know that she knows.
That she knows that he knows that she knows.
Exactly.
That's why you never accept a duel to the death with a Sicilian.
Exactly. This is a social Mexican standoff, while, of course, Promos by Gol Monda is probably completely oblivious to all of this.
I think at this point he's trying to talk the captain into like, hey, do you have an extra ship's cat? like, do you have another cat running around? I lost the last one. But
I mean, yeah, sure, you can.
it's not a ship without a cat.
It's not a grab, drop.
All right.
Do you tell me
scruff a
what
kitten
she's...
and just sort of like.
Taralese would definitely make a small motion to nudge Praanz and be staring very intently at Nin, which is her "we need to talk" look.
Praanz would recognize it at this point because she gets it a lot.
Well, no. So Taralese made this motion to Praanz, just signaling to get her attention, but she's staring at Nin.
Yeah. I assume I'm sitting relatively close to Nin.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Can I make would it be fire or stone to accidentally knock her out of the boat?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is this on? Is that what we're saying? Oh, goodness.
Bitch has tested me enough. I'm done.
You know what? This requires some extras, let's just say. Okay.
I'm willing to use my Bakusan that I just bought.
Sometimes my players give me unexpected situations, let's just say. This is one of those times.
It's usually me. I usually do this too.
Please tell me you wait until we're away from the catamaran before you try it.
I do.
So, Promos, what are you doing while us girls are all staring awkwardly at each other very intently?
A lot of Promos' time is spent alone on a boat, so, like, he just sort of sits along the railing of this big ship and is like, she's slow, but she's nice. That's smooth.
It's a catamaran-style ship. Yes, very smooth.
That's nice. That's nice. You don't, like, catch a wave ever.
There we go.
I don't know. This is your boat. You tell us.
No, my boat's the little one.
No, we got back into your boat.
Oh,
we left the catamaran.
Yeah.
Oh, the catamaran. Hey, they're big, but they're nice. No, most of his time is just spent in the act of sailing, you know? He sails this thing by himself most of the time. Every once in a while he'll be like, hey, hold that, you know, like tie this around that peg. Thank you. But most of the time is spent catching the wind and just sort of being in his own little world.
I need to configure it correctly.
I desperately want to know what Lady Taralese's reaction to being handed some rope and told to tie it to something would be.
Oh, no. She is telling her handmaid, you go do that. It's good experience.
It's a good experience, right? So we have here one Promos in the stern holding the till, one Praanz somewhere in the middle, one Lady Taralese, one Miriti as well, completely unexpected.
If you can tie a ship's knot, you can tie a corset.
Precisely. Franz, you're helping her education.
Yep. She's gonna sit there, I guess, or there maybe. And one Nin Halaska, somewhat tense and hoping for the best, as it were. This is the completely wrong music right now, I just have to say. We are on the ocean and nowhere else. So, there we go. It is not a royal court. It is an open ocean. And, yeah.
Franz hasn't even hit anybody in weeks now. She's just itching for a
This
fight.
is true. Nin is sitting there on edge. Lady Taralese is on edge. Everyone is on edge.
You're at least seeing Praanz kind of still staring at her. He's going to kind of start turning the other way, ready to get away from whatever is going to happen.
You ever been in like shark water?
Yes.
I can't say I've ever had the displeasure of being in shark-infested waters. Though there is court. That is a good alternative, correct?
I mean, I've been to some of the parties, so kinda, I guess.
After court, it's like a, refreshing dip.
Yes, it's the thrashing. It's the thrashing that does it. It draws them in.
What weather do we have now? Light to
Good
moderate
question.
rain.
Of
Nice.
course.
The rest of the boat is like, it has like tarps and like rain covers. Promos very clearly lives on this thing.
Yep.
So it's built to kind of drift in the rain for a while if it needs to.
Well, it's still a good wind.
Yeah, but he spends most of his time just kind of out on the prow, out in it. Most of his clothes are oiled leather, so it doesn't seem to bug him too much.
Yeah, he's one with the element, as it were.
He just says, but like, there's thrashing, and then there's like moving, and all of you are sitting there like statues. See, all right.
Praanz,
Darling.
if you want to do the thing, feel free to do the thing. But remember, you do not have quick draw. So right now, your swords are in their scabbards.
I don't want my swords. I just want to toss her into the water. I will use a fate die for my Basikan if I can.
Have we learned that one yet?
We did. We did it at
Okay,
the end of.
Fair enough. Yeah. Okay.
So am I using my fire or my stone, or does it
Let's
make
see.
a difference?
So, the bouncy can is not something that you would necessarily roll for very often. So you will use your expertises in various situations. So
my current expertise is deter.
yep, that allows you to. So you can stop people from attacking you just by staring at them, which is not going to help you right now.
No. Okay.
So basically,
What I want to do.
I can allow you
is-
to use your swordplay fate die, even
Okay.
though you're not holding any swords. It covers melee, generally speaking.
Okay. Because what I want to do is basically look like I'm falling, and as I look like I'm falling, push her over the side as I go.
That's really. I'm gonna have you use your fire for that, which is
Okay.
fine because your light armor doesn't limit your fire that much. So 2 for fire because it's kind of a sneak attack, really, which is more.
And then 1 for swordplay because it's still a melee.
Yep. So that
Okay.
will give you 3 dice altogether. No other bonuses.
I
2
can fully imagine
successes.
Praanz like hitting her with the hilt of her sword in its scabbard too.
Yeah.
Maybe she just kind of like
Now,
like holds the scabbard and like thrusts it forward so the sword comes out and smacks him in the face.
now Nin, she actually does have quick draw. So when you're coming there and stumbling over, I will be allowed to use her sword to defend herself. Luckily enough
yes,
for
please
her.
stab me for falling, quote unquote.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, right now we're all, like that. So she will use one of my fate dice for her sword play and use quick draw, of course. She is not wearing any armor, so she gets a full 3 fire, 1 for the sword, that's 4, and another for her sword play. That is 5 dice. I am running out of dice from my pool. I'm down to 8. How dare you guys? Because she is that fast. And that's a success. She has more successes than you. Which means that she doesn't have any 6s. She's not going to hurt you. Like, the max she can do in damage to you is 1, and you have your leather harness. So you're coming over, you're trying to knock her over the side. She reacts lightning fast, as fast as a snake striking. Manages to get your hand away from her, so she at least stays in the ship, and draws her sword with the other hand. And I guess this is a fight now. This is a fight now, isn't it?
You just had to ask them to rock the boat, didn't you? And she's staring at Promos.
Yep.
Promos is gonna put his hand on the till and get ready to do something stupid.
Well, next turn, Ninhalaska will be the attacker. What is everybody else doing?
Taralese is getting as far away from that as she can while staying in the bottom of the boat. So she's actually lower, and it's harder to knock her out.
Praanz, you can get your swords out this turn, but you won't be able to use them yet. Because...
I don't want my swords. I don't want it to look like I'm trying to hurt her.
Fair.
If she stabs me, that's fine. Because then I can go back to my superiors and say she's mentally unstable. She tried to attack me for no reason. I didn't have my sword out. The boat rocked and I fell and she went psycho on me. It must be the post-traumatic stress of the restless undead.
Yep. So yeah, there we go.
You know, the Shagulites still have her as a plant, or whatever I can use as an excuse.
She has
Sorry,
a sword,
Jesse.
3, 4, 5 dice to attack with the stabby stab, and you have your stone or fire, doesn't matter in this case, and you can add another fate die for your melee. Of course, you're not pulling out your sword. Is Promos doing anything here?
Absolutely. If possible, Promos would like to unhook the sail, give the rudder a hard pull, and make eye contact with Praanz and be like... And then he swivels the boat as hard as he can.
And the objective here is to get people to fall over?
Is to throw Ninhalaska off of her feet. The warning he gives, he just goes, "Hold tight."
Taralese
Yeah.
I will give you...
She's holding a sword. What's she gonna hold with?
I'm gonna give you, Promos, 2 fate dice from the chalice for trying to find one true friend of the world. Basically, you're making friends with Praanz right now.
Hey,
And
my
that,
buddy Alesso sent me to go hang out with her.
yeah, and that allows you to roll 5 dice if you put in 2 fate dice to your navigation check, your skipper.
This, she has already been stabbed once now, right?
Not really, no. We're still resolving the whole situation. Everything happens at once.
Okay, so this is just a naked show of aggression.
Yep. Nin is coming with a sword and trying to strike at Praanz. And not very well, because I didn't roll as many successes as Praanz, but that's...
Then I will go on ahead and burn those fate dice to try and make this happen.
5 dice. That is a complete success. You have a 6 and 2 more successes on top of that. The boat will rock, and people will have to have 2 successes to, or at least Nin will have to roll 2 successes with a fire check to stay on her feet. But before that happens, even as she's kind of, yeah, I guess that's one of the reasons why she doesn't get a good strike in with only 1 success. Praanz, you have 3 successes, one of which is a 6, so you don't get hit by that sword.
My guess is as she's trying to swipe, I lay back.
Yeah. So you can just grab the sword, I guess, with the 6 if you want it, because it's a crit. You can spend 6s on stunts. So if you want to use the 6 to make her go over the side, you can do that.
That's what I'll do. So Praanz will have tried to grab the sword to deflect it.
Yeah.
And as she grabs the sword, she just kind of pulls Nin with it.
And Nin rolls her 3 fire to stay in the boat because Promos is doing the thing. I get 1 success, not the 2 I needed because of Promos's quick handling of the till. And down she goes. Wah! Splash! She's in the water now.
Probus is gonna look at Praanz and go,
Let's go.
pick a direction, love.
Take me to Goba's headquarters.
Yep.
So you leave Nin Halaska splashing around in the water, far, far from shore.
He'll see if he can't horn his way across, just kind of like loud bellow in the direction of the catamaran, you know, in case anyone's listening. He'll just tell him, lady overboard, off of this board here. Wrong cat.
And she will look at Nin as we're leaving. Remember this the next time you try to cross me.
She is lying there in the ocean, just swimming. I mean, she's not dead, right? So there's some kind of profanities coming out of her, even as...
Yeah.
And that's fine. The fact that she's still alive and it's Praanz is saying something.
Yes, it is.
Probus will set the sail and say, there should be an empty keg back there if you want to toss it to her. I don't tell you your business.
She'll be fine, but thank you.
All right.
Do you want her alive?
Not really.
I mean, she has every chance to drown right now. It was such an unfortunate accident.
It really was.
Just took a step over on the side and splash, and
Taralese
long
will
sea voyages are dangerous. We know this.
Reach out and cast Dominate.
You're gonna what again?
She's going to cast Dominate on Nin.
Oh dear, this just took an interesting turn.
I don't need her alive, so you do what you will.
Yeah, and what do we do with this?
Stop swimming.
Okay then.
Can you do that over water?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's the ocean.
Oh no, that's true.
The water
true.
blocks it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. Okay. Never mind.
She should have dominated before she went over the side. Yeah. That would have been nice. Like, no swimming before she goes over the side. And then she's just like lying there, blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
So, a friend of yours then?
A coworker.
Dangerous work?
You've worked with nobles. You know how dangerous this kind of work is.
You know, actually, I don't work much with nobles, no.
I'm not a noble.
Oh, you're, what, soldiering?
Sort of. I'm a colonel.
What's that?
Little higher than a soldier.
So, like you got, like, a fighting man and then, like, a big fighting man. Like how fancy's your hat?
I command the fighting men.
Okay, so you command, every Joe, right? Like, you know, grab a stick and throw your back in. And...
Yeah, like
Oh.
that.
That's noble, like you. So, where are we headed in?
And I give him the address for
Yep.
Goba's
south,
headquarters.
southeast, the big city again.
Yeah.
Everybody else all right back there?
Miriti has been sitting at the back of the boat, just
There's probably a little rum in a bottle back there if you want to take the edge off. There's blankets. Make yourselves comfy. We'll be here soon.
she will go. Still a young lass, this one.
She will look at Lady Tralesi. She's been absolutely useless since the beginning.
She's had her uses. She's part of the reason we were able to find out as much as we did. To which, no offense, but I have no desire to meet with your boss.
That's perfectly fine. I just thought you might want to get in the city a little faster.
Oh, certainly. So, Promos, if you could drop me off at one of the docks before you take her to the Digerolonga's more private docks, that would be very much appreciated.
You can go over to Sumpstaden if you don't mind getting your shoes a bit dirty. And drift back off down to Lagondon.
I suppose it will have to do.
Hey, you got a map, eh?
I've been
Show
to
me,
Tris
you
Silver
show me on the
before.
map. You tell me where to go.
I can drop you anywhere.
Since this is really the first time that we get to have an extended scene in Chisilva, now that your adventures on Marjura are over, and now that we are later in the season here, it's all of 55 degrees Fahrenheit now. Isn't it nice and warm? Yeah. Anyhow, big city, of course. Big city indeed. The Sump Town, if you will, is exactly what it sounds like. Muddy. It's a slum.
Yeah, no way is Charlie's getting dropped off there.
We can't drop her off there.
No.
She'll get
It's,
murdered.
Muddy. Very long, shallow beaches where people go out, collect mussels and such like when the tide comes out. Lots of marsh folk live here because it's basically the only part of the town where they are allowed to live. And few others really put up with the stench from all the seaweed and such like. It's only shacks and small cabins, and a lot of them are standing up on like pole work so they can remain above sea level when the tide comes in. So that is what the Sump City is like. Sump Town. The lagoon. There we have. Let's go over things. It's a major traffic area for sea traffic, of course. It's one of the only places where you can get deep drafted ships in along this channel. So the few ships with the deep draft that actually make Tresilva, most of them go to Okersanda here in the north, and the cargo is transported on barges from Okersanda to Tresilva. But sometimes you need to get one of those ships in there, certainly on Imperial business. So that's the way they go. There's a series of ponds here.
So I think the benefit of his little the small size of his skiff is that he can dock anywhere,
Yes,
that he can manage to fit.
He can indeed.
Just about anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how nice a part of town would you like to be dropped off at?
Definitely, because Stenstaden, that's the Wall
Stone
Street.
City. Stone Town, yes.
Okay, yeah. So probably somewhere there or around that.
Yeah, I mean,
Now.
a boat his size, as long as there's not something bigger currently blocking the way, as long as we don't have a Suez Canal situation, then he can just drift right up the Lagondan.
Yep.
Once you go into the lagoon, he probably can't make it up these tributary rivers without a license. He's learned, but
Praanz, you actually do have your own villa right here on Bitter Hill.
Which I will get to eventually.
Which
But
you will
I'm
get to.
assuming priority is going to report.
Yes, indeed. That particular hill, Bitter Hill, is a place where a lot of the original families that made up the sort of elite of the Paratornians when Paratorna was initially settled. So this is one of the oldest part of the cities, really.
Okay. I will, when we drop Taralese off, I'll tell her to come have a drink at my villa later, and we will discuss.
Nowadays, it's mostly inhabited by lower nobility. So Lady Taralese might have quarters on Bitter Hill as well.
Yeah, I don't know that she's necessarily in a position she would have her own quarters there, but I'd imagine her
Family
benefactor
quarters.
would let her
Yeah.
make use of their own grand estates as
Well, her
one of the original
benefactor's-
families.
Her benefactor's grand estate is, of course, on the Imperial Mountain, or Coro Campina, where all the higher level nobles.
So she
have
might
their
have
estates.
purchased you maybe smaller estates in
Yeah.
that area.
Yeah,
Probably.
she could have done that. Like as a noble, like Lady Taralese, you do have nobility level 1, and that does mean that you have an estate somewhere. It's not a
Praanz does.
fancy one.
It's not the one she wants.
It's not the one she wants. It's a one. And it's going to be of about the same level as Praanz's, because you have the same rank.
Assuming Praanz doesn't commit political suicide here in about 5 minutes.
Exactly. These ponds, by the way, since we were talking about it, that is where merchants are. They use them to grow all sorts of delicacy fish and seafood, and artistic fish as well, for those who want colorful fish for their little ponds in their estates. So that's where they produce that.
The blowfish that can kill you if you cut it wrong.
That one, yes.
Sometimes you catch one of the pretty ones, like the big fins, but you got to keep it away from the rest of the catch.
Mm-hmm. This area here is called Port Town, which is where most merchants and most of the foreigners and so on spend their time when they come to Trasilva. Always packed with people, always plenty of people. We're not on the open ocean anymore, are we? So this is like the most busy part of town. Everybody's there doing their trade at all times. You will have missed the Freedom Games, you guys, I believe.
Taralese is very disappointed.
Yeah.
With
can
what?
I say?
The
Missing
Freedom Games.
Yeah.
Oh,
So sorry. about
Praanz is
that.
thinking, thank heavens.
Bread and circuses. Come on, everybody loves bread and circuses.
Over down here, you will have the Freedom Park.
You will notice that for being a commander, Praanz is kind of antisocial.
No.
Which is
She'd
where
never
most of us-
guess.
One of the weird reasons she and Malek got along so well.
It is. That's why I liked you. You didn't make me talk too much.
So you got like things to do then before you go back to the party?
Oh yes, a number of different things.
Very good. Good to see you. Off here. Off you go. Be safe.
Come by my villa later. We'll have a drink. I'll probably need it.
Of course, I'll even bring something from my own cellar for you.
Oh, appreciate it.
As you pass by the various parts of the city, the Stone Town is really where most of the monumental buildings of the city are. They're all clustered in this part of town, for the most part, with one or two exceptions. And, yeah, that's pompous, not really tastefully done. Like, it's always to show off how much money Trasilva has, not with any sort of architectural elegance in mind, or to make the buildings match each other.
Given the current situation, Praanz kind of giggles at it.
Bokrin is where you'll find a lot of the civil servants, like the upper bourgeoisie of the imperial bureaucracy. They live there. And that's going to be the path you go through to get to the actual high nobility, the imperial mountain, and where all the high nobility have their estates. I should mark out the Budak, of course, just so you know where it is. And that is over here. That is where the Noble Council meets to make all decisions for the realm. But you are passing it by to get to the actual nobility, aren't you? And report back.
Now, am I dropping Praanz off in a different location?
That's up to Praanz.
I want to go straight to Goba. That was my original order. So.
Yep, it was. I mean, obviously
just
the
go-
Dintalonga will have offices here, so yeah, you can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, so he'll kind of make his way to these what I assume are like private docks.
Yep, very much so. But you
And,
can just wave your
he's got a
Allesella
yeah, he's
seal.
got a piece of paper that
Yeah.
wave at people that get in his way.
Yeah, I assume Praanz would have IDs she would wave and
Oh, yeah.
things of the like,
Yep. Absolutely.
if not being recognized on site.
Yeah, she's more or less recognized on site. That's true. So how do we do this? Are we gonna have ourselves a? So Praanz will report to Goba first. Will Lady Taralese report to Duke Allesella then? Then we get a nice little sort of conversation that way. Maybe Duchess Klenora isn't quite available at the moment, and Duke Allesella intercepts the good Lady Taralese as she's trying to get to her patron.
Oh, I am so glad that I ran into you. I just wanted to know, did everything go smoothly?
Your monkey is, well, he's quite the monkey, let's just say. He, for some odd reason, was requesting someone else entirely.
Well, again, he is a rather simple type. Simple instructions. Even then, they're bound to get misinterpreted. Are you satisfied with the current pace of the convoy?
Certainly not with the Carrick, right? That's what the really big one is?
Yeah, the Galbalon. Yeah.
Galbalong. Certainly not with the Galbalong. It's so slow. Oh my gosh, it's even slower than promos. I mean, really, it's incredible.
Well, I would send him out with one of the weather witches, but he says that he finds them distasteful.
Most find any kind of magic. Most of the simpletons consider any kind of magic to be distasteful. But regardless, how was the festival?
Oh, it was lovely. Drinks, dancing, the gallivantery. I had a blast. Are you going to make it to the next?
I certainly hope so, so long as I'm not sent out on further little goose chases, though I must admit this was rather fruitful.
Oh, did the goose catch a rat?
Quite the big one. Several, in fact, too. It's amazing how many can hide on one little glacier. Let's just say things are going to be very interesting for a while.
Well, if any of these delicious little crumbs happen to fall my way, I might happen to know a place where men behave like cats.
Really? We just came from a place where there were... Praanz told me about it, that one of the places there, they were all acting like cats. It was rather strange. She took an empty crate with her. I don't know what she was doing with it.
You should ask Promo about his experiences there sometime.
Maybe. Maybe next time I actually see him again. Frankly, I don't know when that will be. He was off delivering one of my other companions.
Oh, you must use him again. He's delightful. He's the most disruptive thing you've ever seen.
Really? I mean, he's always made quite a stir, but...
Oh, just push him into a crowd and watch things happen.
That could be quite useful. I understand now why you keep him around.
Well, of course, do consider letting me know if any of those names seem to be seditious-y.
Oh, trust me. Actually, in fact, I'll invite
Taralese,
you.
I could do nothing else.
Oh, trust me. Actually, do you happen to know a good illusionist? I've got quite the show to share with the Bodak when I can.
I'll make some inquests. How quickly do you need them?
Do you know when the next meeting is?
I would assume that he does.
Yep, absolutely.
So does he have time to procure the services of an illusionist?
I mean, she needs to get a Veritas anyway.
Yes, she does. She'll have a busy couple of days before the convoy comes in.
He's got some money he can chuck towards the administrative process to kind of grease those wheels.
Yeah, he would. Yeah, there will be, I think, Digitalunga and various dukes and duchesses will be hard at work procuring various Fabricus Veritae to make sure that the witness statements to the council are accurate and received as the truth, even when they contradict each other, which is kind of funny. Before we get to that particular interesting affair, because I have a feeling that both Duke Allesella, Duchess Spinalunga, and Director da Grummi will in fact be in the Budak to discuss the events and the news. But before we do that, Fontrasilor, the wretched place, the wretched hive of scum and villainy, because I sense that Master Scoffer will get a new employer, will he not?
I believe so. I think he might receive a letter, perhaps.
Yes, he might receive a letter and attend an audience with said employer. What does it say in the letter?
Something to the effect of, Dear Master Scoffer, I hope this small missive finds you well. I have heard of your recent troubles and, more importantly, your great skills. I am interested in discussing further. If you are similarly interested, please send word via this messenger and we will make the arrangements. I'm sure you have people for this sort of thing.
And he will, of course, answer in the affirmative. Very pleased to find someone who is not going to immediately kill him for his complete failure on Marjura.
It occurred to me that the most obvious place to start a search for employment with Vaudeville Scoffer touting the great skills and knowledge of totally not Malek Mangus is the university. So like,
yes, it is.
Malek might end up just being like doing grad student work.
Yep, I suppose that is true.
And like at first he was probably quite pleased about this because it means he has access to all the university facilities and stuff, but he quite quickly finds out that this is
the local library is quite impressive.
Not going to further his research because he is run off his feet.
I mean, yeah, probably. They will be kind of weirded out by his habits and his eccentricity.
I mean, I imagine Vaudeville probably finds like something else for him to wear over top of it so he's not freaking people out all the time.
Yeah, that can be done.
Like, we have got to get you some better job interview clothes, my dude. Like...
Yes, that is a thing.
Yes, I imagine he now wears gray robes and some sort of like, dark gray face covering of some kind.
Yes. He is definitely not wearing the official investitures of a Shagulite. That is not going to be healthy for anyone. I mean, as far as Trakoria goes, it would be less unhealthy in Fontrasilor than anywhere else, unless you're walking around in the university district.
Well, the thing is, he arrived before all of this would have come out, and so he had a chance to reinvent himself.
He did, and a good thing too.
Yes.
So I suppose Vaudeville will Master Scoffer meet his new employer in her residence or somewhere in town?
What sorts of facilities does she have at her command?
I'm gonna say, like, the residence itself is not terribly inviting to socialize. I would say.
I seem to recall it's in pretty rough shape at the moment.
it's a fixer-upper. It's
probably better to receive him in town then.
Indeed.
I imagine she is capable of predicting what the likely response from a merchant and a good servant of Castique would be in both places. And
And so we introduce on the board, maybe in Old Town.
And, I imagine, since since she knows full well that this gentleman is likely a good servant of Castike, everything around her is as expensive as possible.
That will impress him. He will come into this room. I'm wondering if it's like the most expensive suite at a very lavish tavern, perhaps?
Possibly.
Since it's a place to do business, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he will make a proper curtsy. Or, well, bow, as it were, to his presumed new employer. Your Grace.
Master Scoffer, I believe.
That is me, yes. I have recently arrived in this wretched place that some people call a city. But we will make the best of it, will we not?
I do hope you haven't taken against my homeland so soon. It has much to offer.
It is all dependent on the grace of Castike, of course.
Yes, I have heard you are among Hammer's faithful servants.
Yes, indeed. I can tell you about several quite successful deals that I have made on behalf of House Shakello, a house that has now fallen into complete disrepute because of sabotage from marauding competitors. But when I was in charge, you understand, and he will go on a quite long litany of amazing trade deals that he did. The whole not blow your own horn, that's not a Paratornan thing. They blow the horn all the time. In a way that probably Palamoxy people feel is a bit braggarty and gauche. But he doesn't seem to care about that, because he's Paratornian, so he's gonna brag away. There was that time when I managed to fleece some nitwits in the city of O. Those piss-drinking knaves had no idea about how to do a proper deal, but then again, they are far-sailed foreigners. And
this
so...
is all very fascinating. Could I offer you some refreshment?
Please, yes.
But, House Shikella, I've heard of them. Fallen, you say?
Yes. I bring tidings.
Oh, really?
It seems that House Shakello, which until recently had the monopoly on the sulfur trade to our islands, have lost said monopoly.
Oh dear.
Yes, there is a conspiracy afoot, you see, Your Grace. The most ill-smelling and flap-mouthed mongrels of House Mogger try to create a false ledger, holds it up, to smear the good name of the House Shakello, my previous employers. And I'm sorry to say, because of a conspiracy masterminded by the Digitalunga, no less.
Goodness.
They succeeded.
Well.
A power grab. I'm sure the Digitalunga is now in possession of the last remaining sulfur.
When all else fails, blame Praanz.
Yep!
How terrible. This is perfidious even for them.
And we should expect nothing less. We are talking about Tresilva, after all.
Yes. They do not value my beloved homeland as they should.
Indeed. Tresilva is populated mostly by fool-born knaves who pretend to be nobles, but couldn't tell good lineage from poor.
Oh, and you can?
Of course. I am a practical man, Your Grace. I am a man of Castique, and I will go where I see the fineries of life, those of true worth.
As I have said, my hometown has much to offer to those who serve her well.
I certainly hope so. Perhaps there is an opportunity here to, enrich this hometown in ways that have not been seen since, the Empire itself.
Well, now you're speaking, I must confess, matters of trade are not something I'm terribly experienced in. I have been seeking some advice in that regard, and those who know about such things gave me your name. Apparently you're quite well known.
Pulls his algae silk collar. Indeed, Your Grace. Puffs up his chest. Yes, you see, the merchants, well, those who call themselves merchants in this snot-eating hole, dung heap, they have no idea of the finer arts of the trade. I feel that I will be able to craft contracts and spot opportunities that even a blind weasel would be able to see, but these people, having their noses clogged with silt and mud from the river, are unable to do so.
Interesting. Could you give me an example of one such opportunity you've perceived since arriving here?
Yes, well, one problem that we have here is, of course, one of transportation. We cannot ship items out to the coast because of the storm, and shipping them to the focal plains is completely useless. We will therefore have to use some kind of land transportation to get to a reasonable port city. I suggest this city's primary values to be transported. There could be some items I could think of. We don't make much natural resources here, the soil being salt-ridden and as it is, but we do have a university, and I do have a connection at the university. So perhaps we could impress those fools in Tresilva by overshadowing them in the realm of knowledge and insights.
Overshadowing? How interesting.
If I may interest you of such an idea.
Well, I do love learning. That is true. I'm not as educated as I would like to be. So if you have connections at the university, I'm afraid they don't take me terribly seriously.
We shall have to amend that, of course. I also understand that there might be some parts here where we can find good products that we could supplant the current merchants and resume the export under new management, as it were.
I suppose you know a bit about that.
I do indeed. Draws up a bunch of contracts and presents them. I would take, of course, simple sum myself as a part of my brokerage fee, if you will, Your Grace. But other than that, I will strive to line your coffers to the honor of Castique.
I see. I think I shall consult with my advisors on the subject of these contracts that you have drawn up. I may reach you in the same place I reached you before.
Of course. Of course.
It's refreshing to meet a man of your considerable skills who is so unpretentious in the location you're staying. That's so interesting.
I think she will detect a slight sort of frown, like he feels a bit insulted by this. Being Paratornian, he's supposed to be pretentious. But he also understands that Palamoxi ways of giving flattery is different than Paratornian. So, you flatter me, Your Grace. He's just assuming that this...
Oh dear, did I not do it right? I had been... My secretary's been trying to train me in Praetorian means of etiquette, and I thought you were meant to insult people.
That is correct. You are, yes. Excellent. Yes, this is exactly... Yes, that is the Paratornian custom.
I'm afraid it goes against my entire upbringing, so I'm sure I didn't do it right.
Everyone has to start somewhere, I suppose.
Well, this has been most enlightening, and I will have a look at the documents you have provided, and I will get back to you anon.
Very well, Your Grace. I await your summons.
I imagine the negotiations are far more bracing than he expects them to be.
Yep. Quite so. Yeah, and so it was that Master Scoffer entered into the employ of the Princess Foldo, a rising noble in Fontasilor, and soon to be on the board of the Game of Shadows. Wow.
You know, eventually I'm going to use that reputation as the root of all evil to my advantage.
Yes, this is, of course, you are.
I mean, Taralese is trying to take advantage of it as much as she can.
Why wouldn't you?
Working so far, I guess.
Right?
I wonder what she'll do with the information that she now has weeks ahead of everybody else.
That's the question.
You only have so much of it, though.
Yeah, because Malek and Baudeville might not know as much as some others. Like, for instance, Praanz and Taralese. The question here, then, is... When the Buddha... Yeah, why don't we run that? It's a good roundup scene for the evening and to see the consequences for the realm. When all the nobles are assembled and I suppose it is Colonel Praanz that will have to, and Lady Taralese, that will have to report to the assembled nobility. I guess John is now the Duke. Together with so many others. Present will be Goba da Grummi and the Duchess and Duke Rovendo Allesella. Like, everyone is here.
Am I Praanz or am I da Grummi?
Which one do you want to be right now?
I'm better at being Praanz.
Alright, go with Praanz then. There will be questions asked, but let's see what Praanz says, generally speaking, about what happened on Marjura when the convoy arrives, because there will be questions.
So I have good news and bad news. The good news is I got most of Majora out of live. The bad news is the Sulphur Camp and the rest of Majora is completely overrun with Restless Dead. Somebody opened some kind of tomb. From the intel I've gotten, it's the same people who you sent me to find who the stolen shipment. The same people who took the stolen shipment, I believe, have opened a tomb and released a bunch of Restless Dead. And they have completely taken over Majora.
There is a lot of mumbling, and it's like a whisper like a wind through the ranks of the nobles when they hear this. Some will have already heard this because, you know, they got the report ahead of time. And I'm thinking, of course, Goba da Grummi and the Duchess and Empress Heneguya, I'm sure that the Duchess and the Duke informed the Empress as soon as they could. So everybody who is close to the action, including Duke Yalsop, will already know. But there's a lot of lower nobility and nobodies who are like absolutely shocked by this and what do we do? Sulfur trade.
It seems like they can't cross water, so I have left contingencies in an outpost on a nearby island. And when we have more magical knowledge about how to put Restless Dead back to sleep, it is possible to go retake Majora. But not until we have more magical knowledge about the Restless Dead.
We must immediately do this. Well, think about the costs. Castique demands it from us. Voices.
Groba just Praanz just kind of stands at attention and continues to wait for orders. She's given her report. She's, you know.
Duke Yalsop looks like he has swallowed not just one lemon, but a whole bag full of them, because he was expecting him to be in control of the island now, and nope.
Praanz is keeping straight-faced and just kind of watching the main powers that be to, like, assess their reactions to things. Praanz is, you know, she's trying not to look like the cat that caught the canary, because she knows that this is their fuck up. But she can't tell them that.
No, absolutely not in public. Why don't we have Praanz? I mean, you don't have the insight check, but you can still roll your 2 water to see if you understand various machinators here. That's terrible.
I can absolutely fail.
You can absolutely fail.
Can I use an experience?
Nope, because you don't have experience. Oh, maybe you can. Do you have an experience that has anything to do with this?
The Battle of Arhem? Can't fight my way out of this.
I am a generous soul. I'll allow it.
Rerolling everything. I can only reroll 1, can't I?
No, you can reroll both.
I reroll everything.
Yep.
That was not better. That was not better.
It is better because it's 1 success. Yeah.
Okay.
But Yalsop, of course, being the person he is, with 3 water, all the machinator in the world, and I'm gonna use all the fate dice for him.
He can still fail.
He can still fail, but I will roll his 7 dice. 3 successes is something.
Or not.
So if anyone wants to read him, you will have to beat those 3 successes.
Yeah, and Praanz can't.
No.
Taralese will try.
Go ahead. I knew you'd say that.
Hey, she is a noble. This is her wheelhouse.
It is.
I technically have nobility, but I think it's literally only because I have the rank of general.
You have 3 successes, and one of them is a 6.
There you go. This is why I employed Taralese to help me.
This is why we're friends.
Yeah.
I can say this, that Duke Yalsop, he's standing there and nodding along with everyone else in terms of, you know, successes and failures and the glory of the realm and everything. But every once in a while, he is glancing towards Colonel Praanz, and there's just poison in his eyes. She is now his mortal enemy. He wants her to die slowly in a fire for messing up his amazing schemes. On the other hand...
I didn't mess it up. His little fucking pawns did.
Well, technically you failed to stop them from finding them and using them correctly, and yeah.
It's complicated, right?
Once again, Praanz is the root of all evil.
Exactly. So, Lady Taralese will know that Praanz has a new enemy in Duke Yalsop. But I don't know if Praanz knows it yet. You'll have to decide.
okay.
John, does Duke Allesella want to roll a similar roll here?
I think Duke Allesella definitely wants to scope out the relationships, mostly who is angry at who. He would also very much like to hide his own reaction, if at all possible.
Of course. Now, the disadvantage of the situation is that you're using the same pool regardless if you're using Promos or Allesella. So you have one remaining fate die, but let's spend that.
As I say,
Absolutely.
could I give him a fate die
Absolutely.
through the whole roundabout connections?
Yep, you can do that.
So you can keep your one fate die.
Yeah,
Well,
slipping.
or you can roll two.
Or
because
I
you
can
have-
burn two.
Yeah, because you have enough Machinator for that.
Like passing each other notes underneath wine goblets, at the soiree. Always tip the waitstaff.
Exactly. So feel
So
free
wait,
to roll.
did Praanz announce this at some kind of like congratulatory ball or something?
We'll get there. We'll get there. Roll 5 dice to read Yalsop or Taralese.
Oh, please. It's not a very important noble meeting unless there's alcohol involved.
Right?
This is true.
Although, following the results of this, what's Goba doing?
That's also a good question.
My,
very good.
I imagine Goba looks like she swallowed a frog.
That's, yeah, probably. Rovendo
Given-
Allesella will read Yalsop as well as Taralese did, and know what's happening here. Which is interesting, because Goba is retaining the Colonel as her puppet, but Yalsop, who is Goba's boss, is not very happy with that puppet at all. So it's an interesting tension right now.
No,
No, but he can't demote me right now because I'm a hero.
Yep.
and how high up in the list of friends of the Emperor is this guy?
Goba da Grummi?
Yeah.
Not at all. Goba da Grummi is, in fact, one of the Emperor's primary rivals in the court. Goba da Grummi is very much together with Yalsop da Kamesti, who is the one who wants to unseat the Emperor.
So it would humiliate this guy if I were to publicly congratulate your safe return.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it would. Very much. So.
The very reason why he carries champagne flutes, he just sort of taps his ring against it to get that nice little bell sound,
Ding, ding, ding.
and just. I would like to welcome you back into the Empire's safe embrace. We are proud of your endeavors. We're glad that you have returned home.
Thank you, sir.
Would you like some sort of parade?
That would be lovely.
We'll see what we can arrange.
And so it was that Praanz da
Praanz is
Kaelve will in fact be leading a parade through Tresilva with the survivors of Marjura, and of course the soldiers will be there, right? And I have a feeling that in this little chess game in court, the fact that the throne has the upper hand for the moment might mean that Goba da Grummi will in fact promote Praanz, because Praanz is becoming a local hero now. Thus it is no longer Colonel Praanz da Kaelve, it is in fact General Praanz da Kaelve of the Digitalunga. And the widow of Procurator Gotthard da Melsa will also be celebrated as a hero in this ticker-tap parade. And even though there's no body for Gotthard, because he blew himself up together with the rest of the garrison, she will be there together with her very round son, and receive the jubilation of the crowd for her really final moment of glory before she retires somewhere to an estate where nobody has to think about her embarrassing legacy, being the procurator, being the wife, the widow of the procurator who lost Arhem. But the general saved so much sulfur, right? You're gonna inflate, like, how much sulfur... Let's not talk about how much sulfur we used to explode Restless Dead. Let's just talk about how much sulfur that were actually in the ships. Laden with sulfur.
I'm sure Lady Taralese coached me on how to inflate the numbers.
Yes, very likely so. And there is, so that is a glorious day. It's not quite as raucous as the Freedom Games, of course, because nothing can compare to that. But at least we have the adulation of the crowds along the boulevard of the Paramugia and to the Freedom Park. Everybody loves a good parade, and everybody's celebrating how General Praanz da Kaelve will one day lead the Paratornian army to retake Marjura from those nefarious others. Things.
A little weird having my shadow character hate my character.
Or maybe your Goba da Grummi sends us an opportunity to replace Yalsop at the helm of the Order of the New Sphere.
I think that's more like it.
Yeah.
I feel like from that short interaction, Grummi finds Yalsop just tiring and self-congratulatory.
Down Yalsop, up Goba.
Yeah,
That's a
that
win
might
for
be a
her.
thing.
So maybe she doesn't hate Praanz at all.
No, she's gonna use Praanz.
Like,
Praanz is
Nin
useful.
was Yalsop's creature at the end of the day. So
It's a good
Goba's-
thing I drowned her then.
Yes, absolutely. Goba's very pleased with this.
Did she drown?
Probably, yeah. As for Harkaton the Shagulite, who is, or was until like a moment ago, the most entrusted advisor of the Empress herself, how does Praanz and Lady Taralese describe the Shagulite's involvement in this mess?
Oh, this is where Taralese is going to use a combination of her magic with the illusionist's magic to show everyone else what she saw through Nin's memories.
Ooh.
Of the demons and the horrific things that the Shagulites were doing in the Iron Tower.
Which means, of course, that Harkaton will get hauled away by a bunch of guards and put in a cage somewhere to be displayed as the nefarious, maybe mastermind behind all of this.
Praanz will ask that he not be killed right away, as
No,
she
he's not
needs
gonna be
his
killed right away.
knowledge.
He's gonna be sitting in a cage so people can, throw rocks at him or rotten tomatoes or things like that.
Praanz will need to interrogate him to figure out how to quiet the restless dead.
Oh, Harkaton hasn't got a clue. You're gonna be super disappointed with Harkaton. Like, obviously he's gonna be interrogated in the Red Cliff, which is called the Red Cliff partially because the stone is actually red, but also partially because, all the blood that's been spilt inside the headquarters of the Digitalunga inside of the Red Cliff. And
Praanz had to learn it somewhere.
exactly. Also, the blood spilled by people thrown off the Red Cliff into the sea below. Long story short, Harkaton was always a patsy for the Shagulites. He didn't even have green skin. He had learned nothing of their arcane arts. He was there to seduce the Empress as much as he could, and to maintain that relationship and that influence, and to recruit young foolish nobles from anywhere in Tresilva or Paratorna to the sect. That was it. So when you ask questions like, how do we stop the Restless, he's like,
because
he's just pretty.
He's just pretty. That's really it.
Praanz knows from experience, real Shagulites ain't pretty.
No.
Useful, not pretty.
And this one isn't even useful anymore. So, putting him in a cage for general humiliation is probably not, a waste of him. I think him being the figurehead of the evil people that have attacked the Empire's coffers, that's his best use right now.
Yeah, I think that's what her next steps will be, though. Will be just looking into the magic as much as she can vaguely understand it.
Will the Empire declare the Shagulites as enemies and outlaws and hunt them down where they might be and so on? The Empress would like that to happen. I mean,
then
she needs
if the Empress commands it at the moment, Goba will do it.
Yeah. No, the Empress, she has no other choice, right? She's been so chummy with the Harkaton that her only possible stance in public right now has to be a complete condemnation and hunt them down, basically. They are traitors to the Empire.
Goba will have to declare any Shagulites public enemy #1.
Yep. Sounds good. And that is basically where we will leave this court for now. We will start the Game of Shadows across the entire Trakorian Empire, all 4 islands.
Oh my.
And we will play scenes from various turns and various schemes, very much generated by you guys now, as an intermission. And we will do this for a while until Book 2 starts. But that's distant at the moment. So thank you everyone for being here. Thank you, John, for joining the table.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure's all mine.
The Duke is a formidable figure, I'm sure.
And she will definitely have what was your other character's name?
Promos.
I really don't want to call him the monkey.
That's fine.
She will have him and Lady Taralese back for a drink after this is all over, because she will need one.
I'm sure.
Speaking of invitations and communications, I believe Lady Demelce also gets an unexpected letter.
Ooh, that's interesting. Yes, Celeste. I mean, she doesn't really feel comfortable in Paratorna given, what her husband did. So she might go elsewhere where she is not well known by everyone. Yeah. She'll bring her son as well.
Yeah, during the whole party, Promos is just like wandering around he just goes to different restaurants and tries foods. Right? Anytime somebody has a plate of food out, he just goes and yeah, sure, tries it. He doesn't really seem to pay much attention to any of that. Any of the politics. He just sort of wanders around chatting to people. But he'll make sure to come up to you and be like, so where are we going next?
My villa for booze.
Oh, villa.
Booze. It will be fairly clear for Lady Taralese and General da Kaelve that Promos is a Transmuran. His thick accent, that's where he's from. So, yep.
Taralese is used to dealing with Transmurans.
Yep. Anyhow, that is all we have for tonight. See you everyone in 2 weeks, and let's get the Game with Shadows started.
See you in 2 weeks.
See you then.
Later.
Bye.